We live. We are live. What's up? What's up, everybody? Put a Hey, let me know in the chat if you can hear me now. I don't want to get to talking, and then next thing I know, I was talking to myself for 15 minutes. Austin Peterson, what's going on, man? I hope you're doing good too. I think y'all are gonna enjoy tonight's show, man. Perfect. All right. Yeah, I think y'all gonna enjoy tonight's show. I put a lot of thought into this one. I've been trying to piece it together for a while just to be able to make it a complete message, because I've realized that over the past couple weeks since we've been doing this weekly live thing, I've been dropping gems on y'all. And if you really go back in there and listen to some of the stuff I said, I've really been hitting y'all over the head with some secret jewels. So today what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of recap some of the best things that I think we probably should have touched on a little bit more. And hopefully you guys could really start to appreciate, where I'm getting at with this culture that I'm trying to build versus just let's go into the gym and work out. You know what I'm saying? So, all right. Anyway, this might be a light chat tonight. I know tonight is the playoffs. I was gonna skip it, but I said, you know what, man, I really don't like either team anyway. So the Lakers ain't playing, and the Nets ain't playing, and then the Hawks not even playing. So what's the point? You know what I'm saying? I'm from Atlanta, so ain't no point in watching them. Anyway, all right, let's get into it. So the top 10 rules for a great body, in my opinion. This is gonna be my opinion. This isn't, what the standards are for everybody, but this is my opinion based on what I've put together and research that I've done and competing and training people. And I've compiled my top 10 things you got to keep in mind when you're trying to put together an ideal physique, or what we would consider a great body. Okay, because you may think you look good, but to the untrained eye, you look good, but somebody who's looking at you, you look, you might just look like a general dude. So let's get into it. The first thing we're going to say is the natural flow of the male stature. All right. So the natural flow of your stature, male or female, all of this stuff can also be, considered for females too. But the reason I'm not going to stress too much about women today is because, women come in different shapes and sizes. So you kind of just got to, do your best for what look the best that God put you on this earth to look like. You know what I mean? Don't be too out of shape. Don't be too in shape. It's just find that balance. But for guys, because we have to work harder, because we have to build muscle in order to build a masculine frame and all this stuff, it's a little bit, we have to strategize more versus just saying, oh, eat less, work out a little bit more, blah, blah, blah. No, you got to really get in there and do certain things to your body to make your body look well developed, So the natural flow of the male stature. And this is a maxed out version of what you would already look like, and it has to make sense. Okay, now when I mean by making sense, and what I mean of a natural version of what you already look like a maxed out version of you, my maxed out version is going to be different from somebody else's maxed out version. You know what I'm saying? I might only be able to get to 210, at the max. Somebody else may be my same size and height and width and all stuff, but be able to hold 230, 240 on that frame, maybe 260, you know what I'm saying? Still look good. So it just depends. So you have to really consider what's the, what would be the ideal version, a maxed out version of what your body could really look like. And the way to kind of see that is just look at yourself now, or look at yourself when you were in great shape. And if you are in great shape, just, take your clothes off, stand in it. I like to look at my silhouette. You know what I'm saying? I like to stand in the mirror, not in the mirror, but like in a reflection or whatever like that on my sliding glass doors going to my deck in my patio. You can kind of see yourself in the silhouette. You know what I'm saying? So when you see yourself and you look at that, you can kind of tell what areas make sense, or, where you could be lacking in certain areas. So, but if you knew that maybe with another 10 pounds or with another, filled out version of what you already have, you could look real good. That would be, the ideal form. Now think about it like this, just so I can put it into kind of more perspective. If you look at the older bodybuilders from back in the day, like the 60s and 70s, and probably like a lot of our grandparents and stuff like that, a lot of times, they're like, yo, your grandfather was in shape back in the day. And a lot of our grandfathers probably were in shape back in the day. I guess whatever it was going on back then, they were really like, lifting stuff and moving around and, building. They were hands-on back then. And we probably not as hands-on now because we're more technical, but a lot of our grandparents and stuff were very, hands-on and had to use their bodies and stuff. And so back then in that era when people were working out and when the gyms were open and stuff, you could tell that they just looked good. It wasn't like, oh, I look like I go to the gym, or you look like you must live in a gym, or you look like you work out too hard. No, you just look good. You just look like a strong man. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we're going for. That's what we're talking about. That's a physique that is something special about that, because we don't have them anymore. And it really wasn't that much back then. We talking about in the 70s, you see a dude who looks good and you're like, oh wow, you look good. Even if you look at, the old bodybuilders, Arnold Schwarzenegger and all them, like, Frank Zane and Robbie Robinson, we look at them and yeah, of course, they were the elite form, but there was people back then who also weren't maxed out versions who were still chasing that, and they look good too. You know what I'm saying? Like regular dudes were looking good back then. So that's what I'm saying. We're just trying to get to a point where, we can get back to that regular good looking body. You see what I'm saying? So a natural flow of what your body is supposed to look like. That's the first thing. The second thing you have to remember is to not be disproportionate. I think a lot of us tend to skip stuff a lot of times, and we don't realize how bad that's really affecting our look. To have a great body, you can't have a lot of lacking parts. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of like lacking areas. Like you can't have huge shoulders and small traps. Y'all ever see that? Like a dude, he got huge shoulders and shoulders look like somebody stuffed two, big basketballs under his sleeves or something like that. But he got a skinny neck and his traps are flat, and so his arms sit up like this. Yeah, man, like that's crazy. That's not a good look. Like where are your traps at? So you got things to work on. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of times we tend to be disproportionate about certain things, or you may have a skinny neck or something, or you may have like you can't really do much for your wrists, but your forearms have to have some type of work to them. You can't have huge arms like your biceps. You ever see those dudes that biceps are stupid, triceps are stupid, but then you got skinny forearms. You don't need arms that big if your forearms aren't gonna grow like that. Now you got to scale back. You see what I'm saying? So all of this stuff to somebody who's looking at you and saying, okay, you stand out from the rest of these guys, because we can all go get in shape. That's nothing. That's nothing to go in the gym and we're working out and we're getting big and just, whatever. We'll take our shirt off every once in a while, see something and be like, okay, I still look good. Okay, I'll get back to it later. But to really look phenomenal and break down what you're supposed to look like and have that type of detail and symmetry to you, you got to pay attention. Okay. And that's why we're here. I mean, hopefully you guys who are watching this stuff, y'all take your body seriously like I do mine. And you keep things like that in mind versus just working out aimlessly, because that's not going to really get you nowhere in the long term. You see what I'm saying? Once you develop that foundation, you'll look like that forever. And like a lot of you guys, if you're young watching this, I've looked around this way for a long time. It hasn't been no fluctuating. You're not going to see me in 2050 old or something like that. And now I'm like, dang, KB fell off. No, it's not going to be that. Like, when I fell off, I might lose a little bit of weight, but I still got my shape. You see what I'm saying? Because I've built such a foundation that it can't even go nowhere. It's part of my DNA now. You see what I mean? So keep that in mind. So keep your proportions right. Keep your waist tight. That's another thing too that a lot of people tend to forget. You're not keeping your waist tight a lot of times, and the waist is what tailors in that whole male body. A lot of y'all got waist like I don't even know, man. Like it's just not like it's blocky. You see what I'm saying? Like it's just blocky and leads right into your hips or something like that. And you got to keep in mind, like it's okay to do things for your glutes. If you don't have glutes, build some glutes, because that's gonna give the illusion of having more of a better frame on your lower body. You don't want to not have something. You see what I'm saying? Whatever it is that you're missing, if it's glutes, that's gonna help tailor in. If you can't get your love handles down, or there's certain things you're doing, okay, you may be lifting too heavy. You may be doing exercises that's requiring too much core work, and that's why your midsection is getting blocky. So stop doing that. You see what I'm saying? Start doing stuff where you're not using no weights on your abs. You might be using weights on your abs, and now your abs are getting big and hard and strong and growing like the rest of your muscles. But who needs big, hard, strong abs? You see what I'm saying? So stop doing that stuff. Don't go on that machine and be over there with the ab cruncher and you got all this fat on top of you. That's ridiculous. So keep that in mind. That's something that's going to mess you up in the long term. You see what I'm saying? So remember that. All right. And the other thing you want to keep in mind too, which is something that I know for myself that I've always wanted to steer away from. When I first started working out, there was one specific thing that I did not want to do, and I didn't want to look like I work out. You ever see those dudes who they live in a gym? You see what I'm saying? Wherever you go, somebody said, hey, what gym you go to? Where you work out at? Like, you just clearly know he works out. I personally don't like to have that look like I just only work out, like I live for the gym. I like to look like I do a multitude of things. And that's what I mean about the guys from back in the day. They used to do a multitude of things. They used to do other stuff besides just living in the gym. Once you just have that, that physique that separates you from everybody else, there's a difference between somebody who looks like they live in the gym because they look like they could lose it at any moment. They look like if they stop going for a couple of days, they'll just start to slowly deflate. You see what I'm saying? So don't get attached on that look. That's a crazy look. That's one of those, that dude is eating too many GMOs and eating cold turkey, ground turkey meat and stuff like that on his lunch break. Like, we're not trying to live like that. So don't get too caught up in going for that bodybuilder look, and especially when you do, especially if you're not going to compete, there's no reason to go into that bodybuilder look. Okay. And I'm going to tie it all together at the end with my number 10 rule. And so keep that in mind because it's going to make sense when I put it together. All right. The third thing is the foods you eat are very important for your body specifically. And I think this also goes back to the guys from back in the earlier days. They probably had cleaner foods than we had, if we're being realistic. If you're talking about somebody's delivering milk to your front door, or even just the fact that it's so many years before what we have available to us now, it was more, it was more natural at that state. You know what I'm saying? Just based on the timing. I don't know how food is processed now. I don't know how food was processed back then. But what I do know is it can't be the same way it is now. It can't be better than it was back then where it was less, materials to have to use. So I would think that their food and their lifestyle and doing certain things was just a lot cleaner, just a lot healthier. People used to walk places, not necessarily have to drive everywhere. They weren't delivering food to your front door. You know what I mean? Like, so it might have been sidewalks. A lot of times you notice that in certain areas there's no sidewalk, so you can't even go walk outside a lot of times. So and if you live somewhere like in the country, you can't walk to the store, like in certain areas up north where you could just walk to the store. So a lot of those things play a role in the physiques of how they were back then. But keep that in mind too. The foods you eat are very important. Now, what I say about the foods you eat, you have to figure out what makes your body gain or lose weight, because that's very important. Certain foods that you eat have a certain effect on your body. When I was writing meal plans before, you guys know that I'm very big on eating for your blood type. You know what I'm saying? Eating for your blood type, knowing what your blood type is and knowing what type of things that you can put in your body, because they may affect you negatively. I'll give you an example. Okay, so when I first started lifting back in 2010, I was eating chicken. Listen, I went to the gym. I was going to LA Fitness. I started off 188. I got some trainers. They can attest to this. Like 3 or 4 different trainers in the gym started working with me. They got me big. They told me, listen, just keep eating. And I'm not no big eater, but I was eating hamburger helper. I was eating ground turkey. I was eating, I would get slices of turkey deli meat and make a sandwich right on my lunch break. I'd lift and then go eat. Have me some spicy mustard, put that joke on there. Have my sandwich, be making them throughout the day. I would just eat as much as I could, eat a lot of rice, and I was putting on size, and I was eating a lot of, chicken, and I never was a big beef eater anyway, and I never was a big pork eater anyway, because it's always made me tired. So, that was a here or there type of thing. But when I started realizing, when I did my first detox and saw what my body looked like minus all the other chicken weight, you could see that, like I was holding on to a certain level of fluff that was unnecessary. And so then I started looking into my blood type and started seeing what things I was allergic to. Come to find out, certain foods I was having weren't necessarily good for me. My blood type was O negative or something like that, right? So I find out that certain foods don't work good with me. I don't need to be eating chicken. I don't need to be eating other stuff. Okay, cool. I take that out and I start eating seafood only. Then what happens is I start getting a level of conditioning naturally that I didn't have before. So I was working out before, doing my cardio, all the other stuff, but I was having to work for that conditioning. When I took certain foods on my diet, I didn't have to work so hard for that certain conditioning anymore. And so then it was like, okay, I got striations and I didn't do anything different. All I did was stop eating certain stuff. So I replaced those proteins with, seafood proteins or whatever else I was eating instead, and my body responded to it. So keep that in mind when you're putting your body and your meal plans together, that your body may not be responding as well as it could, and you may not be getting the level of detail that you could because you may have a food allergy. Okay, so like, and then if you want to know what your food, or it could just be it's not working well with your blood type. So those are two different things that to keep in mind. So certain foods will mess you up, or they might make you hold water or something like that. You know what I mean? So keep that in mind. All right, the fourth thing, your activity, your functionality. The question is, can you actually use this muscle, or is it just show muscle? Do you have muscle that can be put to work? Can you go outside and change a tire? Can you go outside and move some? Can you move some furniture? Or are you just a big, stiff, beefy block that's just good for standing still? You know what I mean? Like, so keep that in mind too, because that big, beefy standstill block, it's worthless at some point. I'm not saying you got to be out here doing CrossFit and climbing up trees and stuff. But what I am saying is, you don't want to look like you just have show muscle. Like your muscle can't do nothing. Like, hey, I can't help you lift that table. Like, I'm just here to look pretty. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't ask me to do nothing. Don't ask me to do no physical labor now. This is delicate. Like what's the point of that? So my thing is, I think when you start having a body that you actually use in addition to lifting weights, you start to develop a different type of symmetry to you, because now you're putting those muscles to work. And just like lifting boxes and stuff like that, or the squats and moving around, and the twisting motions that you do if you're moving things, all that stuff works your torso, it works different parts of your body, just so that you have more of a natural flow. So you got to do things that your body does naturally in addition to just working out, because at the end of the day, working out and lifting weights, that's not natural. Nobody's outside doing movements like this all day long. You know what I'm saying? Unless you cutting your hair and you got to keep your shoulders up, then you'll feel it. But aside from that, though, you're not really using your shoulders for certain things. So my thing is, you got to remember to be active and make sure your body is functional, have that functional muscle as well. And that's another thing that those guys had back then. They looked more functional. They looked like they could actually do a couple things. I couldn't see personally, if I asked Kai Green to get up under my car and see if he could change my oil for me, I could not see that happening. Now, granted, Buddy might be able to do it, but just the way he looks, to be able to contort and twist up on there, man, listen, like I would leave it alone. But you don't necessarily need to be 300 pounds and nothing like that. So our aspirations probably can be somewhere else. And remember that that's not the goal. The goal is just to be, functional and look, complete. You see what I'm saying? All right. The fifth thing, you have to work out for the type of clothes that you want to wear. And this is something that I've struggled with myself, because, certain stuff just didn't look good on me. And certain stuff doesn't look good on me now. Like even when I put on size, when I was getting real big, when I was up to like 207, 208, and I was taking creatine and getting ready for shows, and I was doing those back-to-back shows, like certain outfits it didn't look right. And I had to wear sweat clothes everywhere. You know what I'm saying? You could still see that I had muscle under the sweat clothes, but it got to the point where it was like, why is this necessary? I like going to the opera. I like, having to wear suits and going places and just being outside. And certain events, I just couldn't feel comfortable in. You know what I'm saying? Like I got a suit that I can't wear unless I'm 190. And then I got other suits that I got to wear if I'm, 206. So it's like, man, you know what I'm saying? So just keep in mind that you want to have a body that you can still fit in certain clothes with, versus having one where you got your big size clothes and then your small size clothes and stuff like that. You want to, keep in mind, I think when you're building your frame, how do you like to dress? Are you a type of person that don't have no fashion? You just put on whatever? Okay, cool. That's fine too. So maybe it won't matter as much. But if you're somebody who likes to wear, I know for me, my goal is to start wearing more fitted things. I've been telling myself that for a while. Like I have a body, but I don't like to show it off, because personally I'm modest. But I probably would do better, at just, for the sake of having a body, I might as well start dressing the way it's supposed to dress. So what I plan on doing is starting to wear a lot, like a size smaller. I'm gonna start probably wearing like larges and mediums versus wearing XLs and having them too baggy on me. So keep that in mind too, and you'll be able to look a little bit better when you have your clothes on. And we're talking about looking, we're talking about having a great body based on the eyes that are looking at you. We're not talking about having a great body based on what's getting ready to get on stage in 2 weeks. You see what I'm saying? Not a stage ready body, but just having a great body. And I would consider myself to have a great body, and I would consider other people to have great bodies. So we're talking about a great body that you could pull off, not something unrealistic and not something that you're like, you doing a water cycle for 7 days and you're trying to get right for a photo shoot. We're not talking about that. We're talking about just boom, standard. That's the best I'm gonna look. You see what I'm saying? So keep that in mind. The next thing, number 6, you don't have to work out every day, and you probably need to just focus on building a body that you can maintain. That's the most important thing. A lot of times, we think that, okay, we got to be in the gym every day. We got to work out, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, can't skip a day, whatever. Your body does need time to just chill out and not do nothing that's gym related. You see what I'm saying? Like I was telling you guys before, it's okay to take a couple of days off. It's okay to fall off on your diet. Like, just let your body just relax. Take all that, you put all that muscle on, you do all this stuff, and then every once in a while, you could take a day off, take 2 days off. Sometimes I'll take a week off, just give my joints a second, just give my, maybe I might stretch a little bit that week instead, but really just focus on letting my whole body just relax and calm down. And when you put your body under that much stress anyway, from just working out all the time, that muscle does need to recover. And sometimes it doesn't recover like we think it is. Okay, I'm not sore again. Let me get back in there. You can't do that for so long. You start getting into stuff like you're going to mess up a tendon or something. You see what I'm saying? You'll mess a tendon up, or you'll get one of those, you'll move something a certain way and then it's tweaked in an area that you can't get to. I don't know if you guys have ever had a shoulder problem or something, but when you start tweaking stuff inside of the shoulders or doing like real deep bench pressing and something up in here starts messing up, man, listen, you got to stay out of the gym for 2-3 weeks. So my thing is, instead of doing that, just slowly, stay out of the gym. Take little breaks here and there. Work out 3-4 days. Take off 3-4 days. You know what I'm saying? Once every couple of weeks, just don't even work out for a whole week. Maybe 2 weeks. Take off. I'm like, I hadn't been in the gym. I was doing other stuff. Cut the grass, go out. Mow the lawn, trim that. Just do stuff that's around the way. Still be active, but don't necessarily, have to go work out. All right, the next one, number 7. Always incorporate calisthenics. That's probably the key to all of this. There's other guys on YouTube who promote calisthenics. I'm a strong advocate of calisthenics. That's how I built my frame. As y'all know, like I'm from New Jersey. I'm from Irvington. I didn't really have access to a whole bunch of gyms and stuff like that. I just knew parks and pull-ups, and in school they used to have little pull-up things in the gym. So I'm used to that. Like I probably would be better suited for gymnastics. And the reason being, because at a young age, I was doing a lot of that type of stuff. It put a body on me at a young age to where when I was ready to start actually lifting weights, I was already strong. I had already developed and maxed out my body on being able to do 100 pull-ups, 20 pull-ups in the clip at 16, 17 years old. I'm knocking out clips of pull-ups. So my thing is, if you guys would have been working on that when you were younger, you would already have the foundation. So when you start going into the gym, now you'll be extra strong because you've already built your natural strength from the calisthenics. You see what I'm saying? So you have to build your natural foundation first, and then you add the extra muscle on top. And that's the difference between what guys look like who look great and the ones who look, just like they work out all the time, is that they don't necessarily have a foundation. They look like whatever. They just was like, okay, I'm gonna go into the gym. I'm gonna just start lifting everything. And then it just turned into this big old piece of a whole bunch of muscle. You know what I'm saying? But it was no real foundation, no real flow. And calisthenics help you build a flow because it's the natural way that the anatomy is of your body, of your, of your structure. So do your pull-ups, do your push-ups, do your dips, do your squats, and that's mainly it. If you can do those things, you'll be okay. And then once you get good at those things, then you start adding on the weight. Then you start getting big and start, packing on the muscle and such, but don't necessarily start off. And now if you're somebody who's been in the gym already and you consistently already lift like that, you need to start incorporating some type of calisthenic into each one of your workout days. Like if you're going to do a chest day and you got your chest routine now and you're doing, you bench and then you fly and then, incline, decline, whatever you do for your chest, right? That following week, when you do chest again, that's all push-ups. Like, see what I'm saying? Like it's all push-ups now because you did the muscle stuff last time. You did the weight stuff. Now it's time to do the body weight stuff. So to keep that balance and to have that frame, to put that meat on your chest, you work it with the weights, but you also have to put it to work with the way your body moves naturally. And that's how you build a physique that looks like a natural frame because your body's doing a natural movement often. And you just have and you're building muscle with the natural movements, but you put on the size with the weights. if that makes any sense. Okay, so y'all keep that in mind. I said, don't let that go over your heads now. Hey, I might have to put that in a quote somewhere. Okay, so don't let that go over your heads. That's a real key. Somebody write that one down. Keep that in mind. Okay, so I talk about that in my book as well, some more. So if you haven't, you don't know any details about it, go get my book, Guide to Natural Bodybuilding. It'll definitely help you out a lot. Okay. All right. Number 8. Again, the goal is to just look better than your neighbor. I don't need you to look better than everybody else. You don't have to look better than everybody. You just need to look better than people who are around you, people that's in your city, people that's in your circle. You just need to look better than them. And once you start looking better than them, you'll realize that you probably look better than a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? So don't keep it up to think that, okay, I got to compete with KB. I got to compete with so-and-so. Like, no, that's not your competition. Your competition is the dude who's really not even doing it that's next to you. So anything better than him is going to make you stand out. Okay. And that's when you start tailoring. Now, once you start rubbing shoulders with the right people, now I know for me, like, it's not often that I walk across somebody who's in shape, just being quite honest. I mean, I might see a dude here or there. I might make eye contact with him, but it's nothing where I'm like, yo, buddy look good. Like, he was phenomenal. Every once in a while I see somebody on Instagram who I'm like, yo, this dude is like, he got me, you know what I'm saying? But other than that though, no, you don't see that a lot. So if you look better than, everybody who's in your city or whatever, man, listen, you 10 steps ahead of the game. Trust me when I tell you. Yeah? All right. Number 9. Again, taking breaks and rests. This is important. Okay. This kind of goes back to number 7 or whatever, like that, not working out so often. But this one is about taking long rests as well. You can take off for periods of time. It's okay to take off for a month also. If you're going like, even with your dieting and everything. So for example, a lot of times, how creatine says, you're supposed to take it for, what is it, like 5 weeks on, 2 weeks off or something like that, or whatever the routine is, you're supposed to cycle it, right? I haven't been on it in so long, but you cycle it. The same thing with your body. You need to be cycling that as well. You put in all that work for those 3, 6, 9 weeks, go ahead and take off for a month. You know what I'm saying? Like, take off a month. Just go swimming or something. Go outside. Just go ride your bike. Don't do nothing else. Don't be in the gym though. Like, take off, and then later on get back in there. Give your body a chance to calm down off of all that strenuous, hard workout, and then go back in there and start slowly building it up again, so that you're a little bit weaker and that you can get that new stress again. And remember, those guys back in the day, they weren't working out all year. Okay. So a lot of them, some of them were maintaining that body all year long. And we know that we can now, but the ones we were looking at as top level bodybuilders back in the day, their physiques aren't necessarily so unattainable to regular dudes now because of the knowledge that we have. So what I'm saying is, we can do that, but they used to take off. They weren't all the time just working out. They had regular jobs too. They were teachers and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So keep lifeguards or whatever. So keep it in mind that, you can take off and not feel guilty about it. If you're doing it for a long period of time. I wouldn't recommend taking off for 6 months or nothing like that, but definitely don't feel too guilty if you had to take off for a month to get your mind right and just get everything in order and then get back in there. So it's okay. And now number 10. This is the one that we talked about when I did my first live video. The whole point is so that you have to remember that the goal of a great body, is to look attractive to the opposite sex. You got to be naturally pleasing. You got to be aesthetically pleasing. Girls got to like you. Dudes got to like you. Dudes, we like each other. We'll be like, yo, buddy looks good. He works out X, Y, and Z. But then there's another guy that you see and it's like, yo, what is that? You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you actually look like a pro athlete or something. Like, you look good. You don't look like a gym rat. You look like, you just got a great figure. And that's something different. Women see the same thing, because when they see a dude who's, real big like that, they'll be intimidated by that. So you don't want to look intimidating. You want to look like, oh, let me come touch you. Oh, I see you work out a little bit, don't you? You want those kind of touches. You don't want the, I don't know, because you look too hardcore. You don't need that. That's not a great physique. That's that's somebody who's OD. We're talking about having a great friend. We want your mother to look at it and be like, boy, you look good. Your grandmother be like, boy, you look good. Look at you. You looking healthy. You know what I'm saying? So keep those type of things in mind. And once you start hearing that, then you're keeping, you're on the right track. Hope you guys learned something. Let's get to some of these questions. All right, WCJW. I have 2 questions for the end of the stream. In one of your videos, you mentioned people not seeing results because they're not training for hypertrophy. What are some hypertrophy exercises? So hypertrophy is a feeling that you're going for. You're going to tear down the muscle. Okay, if you tear down the muscle, however you tear it down, that's just what it is. If you work out and you stop before the muscle gets torn down, like a lot of times people would start doing, I think the hypertrophy number is something like 8 to 12 or something like that. You know what I mean? But who knows if it's going to be 8 to 12? Like I think for strength, the number is like 4 to 6 or something. And then for like conditioning, the number is 15 to 25 or something. But hypertrophy is just about building muscle, and you can build muscle by doing high reps. You can build muscle by doing, low reps and real heavy weight. So tearing the muscle down is the whole key. Exercises that I would say for hypertrophy that I know for sure, if you're in the gym, cable flies are monstrous. I would say warm up with something first. Like if you're doing triceps, you can warm up with dips first. Beat your triceps down, and then go do the real tricep exercise. And that way, because triceps is real hard to train, that'll make your triceps way easier to really get touched in, and you'll be already burning by the time you get to your real work. You see what I'm saying? So you do things like that. But any exercise really is just the way you do it and the amount of reps and sets you do. You just can't leave out of there early. You got to really break it down. But anything is no specific exercise. All right, John Doe. I'm trying to cut fat. I cut down to 190, but still not satisfied. Do I still need to lose more, or should I eat in a surplus to build muscle? And you're 6 feet. So you're 6 feet, 190, and you want to cut fat? How you 6 feet, 190, want to cut fat? You my size. I'm 192, 194, something like that. But you want to get leaner? You don't need to do anything. If you want to lose fat, you probably need to don't eat in a surplus like that, but still keep on eating what you've been eating that's making you maintain that muscle. But start doing something small, like I would do my fasted cardio every morning. If I were you, I would start my day off with fasted cardio, and then keep everything the same. You know what I'm saying? Everything stays the same, but do fasted cardio in the morning, so that you are burning those extra calories of fat, not just burning off food calories. If you do your cardio later on in the day, you burn off what you ate. If you do your cardio first thing in the morning, you burn it off what was in your body the night before. So keep that in mind. Do your fasted cardio in the morning, and then keep everything the same. Don't do too much different. You don't want to change stuff up too much. If you got a good routine, don't twist it up. WCJW, you got a second question. Do I have any advice on going to the gym alone? You left your trainer and plan. You working out by yourself, but you keep putting it off because you never worked out alone. Worried people will judge you. I understand that. My advice is focus on yourself. I am a big advocate of having a trainer or having an accountability partner. And if you're in certain situations where you feel like, all eyes are on you and stuff like that, when you're going into the gym, I know it's very uncomfortable, especially if you're not used to that or you don't like the type of attention. Having a trainer is still a good thing. Maybe try to find another gym, get a private trainer, or go at a time where you're not in front of everybody. Or if you're just not comfortable going in there, you can put your big boy drawers on and say, F it, I'm gonna just go in there anyway, and I don't care what these people would think. You know what I'm saying? So, but mentally, that's on you. Me, I can't identify with that. I walk into the gym butt naked. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. But everybody else, though, you may not have that same type of confidence for whatever reason in your background. So keep that in mind. You can always work out privately, but if you feel like you need to start, getting it up, maybe going early in the morning when nobody's there. But for the most part, dude, nobody's judging you. Nobody's thinking about you. At the end of the day, nobody cares. It's all in your own head. Nobody's thinking about you. Like what you eat don't make nobody else, do. So you good, man. Austin Peterson, you say you read my book and you liked it. Have I ever released a sample routine with specific exercises, sets, reps that I use? You would love to see that. My guy, that's what I'm working on right now. I'm going to put together a workout plan. That's my workout plan that I've used from when I was putting on from scratch. Put details in there, notes and everything, and I'm gonna sell it as an ebook. It was the workout plan I was given when I was selling workout plans and meal plans together, but I'm gonna break it down and just refine it so that when you read it, you'll know exactly what to do. But it's a calendar, so it's not gonna be I don't know. I've never seen nobody else's workout plan before, but I'm gonna give it to you on a calendar. You're gonna see the exercises, the reps, the sets, the days that I was doing it, and I'll put the words and all the details at the bottom. But once you see it though, like that's what you got to use. Keep it in your phone, scroll up to see what the day is like. But for the most part though, I'm gonna show you how to get big from scratch, and I'm gonna put it together for you. So don't worry, I got something coming for you, man. All right. You said, Austin, do I found drop sets to be good for hypertrophy? Just try it out, test it out, see what works for you. What works for you may not work for everybody else. And then WCJW, one more question. What do you think about building muscle only with calisthenics? I figured it could save me from going to the gym since calisthenics can be done from the comfort of my home. Listen, I'm a big advocate of just doing calisthenics. I wouldn't even go to the gym personally. If it's me, I wouldn't even go into the gym unless I was good at doing calisthenics. I don't even see the point. I honestly don't understand why people work out unless they mastered that first. If you don't, like my friends and stuff, when we used to go into the gym, we would go off and start working out. Y'all seen my videos? Y'all seen my old workout videos? When it was like full body workout on a Sunday with me and my homeboys, I was making them do pull-ups. They didn't like pull-ups. And we got so serious with it that it became a standard. Like, okay, the warm-up is 100 pull-ups, and then we'll do whatever y'all want to do. But we starting off with this today. You see what I'm saying? Because I can't lose what gave me this. You see what I'm saying? You can't lose the foundation. You build your house on a foundation, on a strong slat, and once it's there, you don't start playing with that. You see what I'm saying? Like, you keep the foundation intact and you build on top of the foundation. You never start off with the house and then come and drop it off and we're going to deliver your mobile home on the foundation. Here you go, my friend. You got a house now. No. Build that thing from the bottom up. You see what I'm saying? Because when you build it from the bottom up, it can't knock down. Something happened to you, it's good. Calisthenics, you see, if y'all look on YouTube or look up old dudes or, guys who've been doing calisthenics 50, 60 years old and stuff like that, phenomenal bodies. You can't lose that. Once you build a calisthenics body, you can't lose it. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Like, that workout stuff is cute. Like going to the gym, my tibialis anterior is nice and I got great calf muscles. Listen, man, calisthenics, that's key. Once you get that, add the stuff on top of it, that's how you have a great body. I think a lot of dudes, what they do is they just do calisthenics or they just do bodybuilding and they don't combine the two or do the right one first and then the other one to put that size on. They don't do it like that. And so that's when they end up looking like they look like Roblox characters or something. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, y'all keep that in mind. Don't forget, if you have any other questions that you want me to go over or any topics that you want me to discuss, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'll read the comments. Thank you, everybody, for coming. We had a lot of people in the chat today. This was great. We had a lot of people viewing today. This was great. I'll see y'all in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and don't forget to order your Kelly Brown's Naturals glass and meal prep containers with the bamboo lids. I appreciate it. I'm almost sold out. I think I'm up to I just made a sale right when we was talking. My phone just linked, so I'm getting down there. So y'all be able to see soon. So anyway, thank you, everybody, and I'll see you guys next week.